Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to the CEC Gurukul lecture series. Friends, we are discussing marginal costing and the break-even analysis. In our discussion on marginal costing and break-even analysis, we have discussed various theoretical aspects of the marginal costing, and we also discussed that there are different business situations where marginal costing is being used. That marginal costing is of immense use in decision making. In my previous lecture on marginal costing, we have seen that how marginal costing is being used in the decision making in a business like situation, right? So like suppose you want to know in your business that at what level should I operate so that my firm become break even when there is a change in the capacity level, or when there is a change in the cost structure, or when there is a change in the sales price, right? And we have also seen that if we want to earn a desired profit, that how do we find out that in order to earn a desired profit, how many number of units we should sell. In continuation of that, we are discussing some other practical aspects of marginal costing in this very lecture. So I am taking an example, and with this example we will show how marginal costing is being used. Like ABC are three similar plants under the same management who wants them to be merged for better operation. The details are as under. That is, there are three plants A, B, C, and the capacity operated of the three plants are A is operating at 100% capacity, B is operating at 70% capacity, and C is operating at 50% capacity. And the turnover is 300 lakhs of A, 280 lakhs of B, and 150 lakhs of C. All these figures are in lakhs. So variable cost is 200 of A. I am not using the word lakhs again and again, right? Of B it is 210, and of C it is 75. And the fixed cost of the three plants are 70 lakh, 50 lakh, and 62 lakh, right? So what you are given is, you are given turnover, you may call it sales, variable cost and fixed cost of the three plants when it is operating at different capacity utilization. A is operating at 100% capacity, B is operating at 70% capacity, and C is operating at 50% capacity utilization. Find out the capacity of the merged plant for the break even. That if we merge all these three plants, what will be the break even, right? Break even, as we know, friends, means it is a situation where the firm makes no profit, no loss. Every entrepreneur would like to know at what level business will operate so that it becomes break even. Means at least it is able to cover its total cost, because we know by now that company makes profit only when it operates above the break even level, right? So every business is interested in knowing, at least when you start your business, or if it is a situation where there is a recession, or there are various situations, you would like to know that at least the company should make break even. In a tough situation, you would like that minimally you should operate at a break even level. Then only you will start generating profit. So if we merge these three plants, what will be the break even? And secondly, we would also like to know the profit at 75% capacity of the merged plant. If we merge these three plants A, B, C, if all these three merged plants operate at 75% capacity, right, what will be the profit level? Thirdly, the turnover from the merged plant is to give a profit of rupees 28 lakh. That is, if we merge these three plants and the business wants to make a desired profit of 28 lakh rupees, right? So then what should be the sales? What should be the turnover? So these are the three different decisions or three problems which are in front of the organization, of the factory, right, of the business, and we would like to find out the answer of these three different questions, right? So let's take one by one all these three. So first of all, if all these three plants operate, because we are merging, so you will have to find out the turnover of these three plants at 100% capacity, right? So A was already operating at 100%, B and C which were being underutilized. If you convert these two plants B and C at 100%, what will be the turnover, what will be the variable cost and fixed cost. Fixed cost, as we all know, will remain fixed whether business operates at 100% capacity or less than 100%. So A is already given at 100%, the turnover is 300, variable cost is 200 lakh, right? So contribution margin is 300 minus 200, that is 100 lakh, right? And fixed cost is 70 lakh. B, we have converted these figures to 100%. So turnover will become 400. Variable cost, again the variable cost will change, right? So it will become 300, and contribution margin is sales minus variable cost is called CM is contribution. So 100 lakh is the contribution of B plant. Similarly, of C plant, again the turnover will be converted into 100%, right? So 300 is the turnover, 300 lakh rupees is the turnover. Variable cost is 150 lakh, right? And the contribution margin is means sales minus variable cost contribution. So 150 lakh is the contribution of C plant, right? So fixed cost remaining same irrespective of the level at which the plants are operating, right? So 62 lakh is the fixed cost of the plant C, which is given in our original example. So now the three plants, if it operates at 100% capacity, means merged plant, what will be the capacity of the merged plant? What I have done is in the last column, right? So we have just made summation of these three plants, that is 300 of A, 400 of B and 300 lakhs of C. We have merged, it comes to 1000 lakhs, right? So variable cost, again we have total the variable cost of the three plants, that comes to be 650. So contribution comes to be sales minus variable cost. 350 lakh is the contribution of the merged plant. That is, if all these three plants are being merged, then the contribution margin will be 350 lakh, right? Okay, minus fixed cost. So again we are totaling, we are adding the fixed cost of the three plants, that comes to be 182, right? So that is your profit. 350 is the contribution margin minus fixed cost is your profit. Now, first is PV ratio of the merged plant. Contribution margin of the plant divided by sales of the merged plant into 100. So what you notice is 350 lakh is the contribution of the merged plant. So 350 lakh divided by total sales. Total sales, what you have seen at the top of the last column, you see 100% capacity, turnover is 1000 lakhs, right? So it comes to be 350 lakh contribution margin of the merged plant divided by sales of the merged plant, right? Or you may call it turnover of the merged plant, right? So 1000 lakh is the turnover of the merged plant multiplied by 100. That is called PV ratio or contribution margin ratio. That comes to be 35%. That is 350 lakh divided by 1000 lakh comes to be 35% into 100, obviously, in order to calculate percentage. So 35% is the PV ratio or contribution to margin ratio of the merged plant, right? So how you calculate the break even? What is the problem before us? That we want to know if the plant is three plants are being merged, at what level of sales the firm will become break even, right? So what level of production? I am presuming whatever is being produced, it is being sold. So the formula which we use for break even is, as you know by now, that break even point is equal to fixed cost divided by PV ratio. Fixed cost of the three merged plant we have already calculated, 182 lakhs. So 182 lakh divided by 35%, that comes to be 520 lakh. That is 5 crore 20 lakh worth of sales if the company makes, then the company will be basically able to break even, right? So capacity of the merged plant at the break even is equal to turnover at the break even divided by the total turnover into 100. So 520 lakh divided by 1000 lakh into 100, that is 52%. Means that if the merged plant operates at 52% capacity, the firm will become break even, right? So the question was, at what level of the merged plant the firm will become break even, right? So turnover at break even is equal to 500. We have already calculated turnover 520 lakh, right? And the total maximum capacity, right, of the production is 1000 lakh. So 520 is 52% of 1000 lakh. It means the firm must have to, means the plant must have to, merged plant must have to operate at 52% capacity in order to have the break even. Now, the other aspect is that sales at 75% capacity, if it operates at 75% capacity, sales will be 750 lakh, because the 100% capacity is 1000 level, 1000 lakhs. So, at 75% it means 750 lakh. So, what we want to know, that what is the profit if the firm operates at 75% capacity. So, contribution margin at 75% capacity level is equal to 750 lakh multiplied by 35%, because we know the contribution. What is PV ratio? If we make, let's friends be very clear that PV ratio or CM ratio means, contribution to margin ratio means, when you make 1 rupee of sale, what is the percentage of contribution in that sales? If a company, if I say PV ratio is 30%, what does it mean? 35%. What does it mean? That if a company makes a sales of 100 rupees, the contribution percentage is 35%, right? So, contribution margin at 75% capacity is equal to 750 lakh into 35%, that comes to be 262.50 lakhs, right? So, at 75% the firm will operate at 262.50 lakhs. So, fixed cost is fixed irrespective of the capacity, whether you operate at 100% or you operate at 60% or you operate at 75%, fixed cost is remains same. So, it is given in our example that 182 lakh. So, profit at 75% capacity of the merged plant is equal to contribution margin minus fixed cost. Contribution margin, friends, we have already calculated, right? 262.50 lakh minus 182 lakhs, that comes to be 80.50 lakhs, right? So, profit at 75% capacity is equal to it if the firm sales at 80.50 lakh, the firm, right? So, the firm will be making this much of desired profit, right? So, firms, friend, what we have learned out of this example, what we have done is that if the firm operates at different capacity level, we want to know that how much the profit. Suppose instead of 100%, firm is able to operate only at 75%. So, if it operates at 75% capacity, what will be the profit level? This management want to know, right? So, we say it will be 80.50 lakhs, right? So, profit at 75% capacity of the merged plant is equal to contribution margin minus fixed cost. Contribution margin we have already calculated, 262.50 lakh minus fixed cost, that is 80.50 lakh. The third aspect is sales to merge a desired profit of 28 lakh, right? So, how do we calculate? What is the formula? You may say formula or method of calculation, fixed cost plus desired profit divided by PV ratio. So, fixed cost is a 182 lakh, our desired profit means in this situation in the business want to earn 28 lakh rupees of profit, right? So, how much sales the firm should make? This is the problem before us. This decision we want to take, or this management would like to know, right? So, what I have done is simply fixed cost plus desired profit 182 lakh plus 28 lakh divided by PV ratio. PV ratio we have already calculated 35% for this business. So, 600 lakh, that is 6 crore rupees worth of sales if the business makes, then the profit will be 28 lakh rupees. So, what you have noticed is there are different types of situations where this marginal costing is being used in order to make the decision, in order to find out the decision. Let us take one more example. A company manufactures and markets 3 products, X, Y and Z. All these products are made from the same set of machine. Production is limited by machine capacity. From the following data indicate priorities for product X, Y and Z with a view to maximize profit. Friends, if you recollect in our previous discussion on marginal costing in previous lectures, I told you a concept called key factor. What is key factor? Let us be clear, because this problem, this example is related to the key factor. key factor is that factor which is in short supply. And the decision has to be made in a business keeping in mind key factor. That is, let me elaborate it further at this point also, that supposing you have a machine and they have one machine only, and machine can work at the most 24 hours, 3 shifts, and you are producing 3 products A, B, C. All these 3 products are using different time of machine. Say A takes 2 hours, B takes 3 hours, C takes 4 hours. Right? Machine is only one. We don't have another machine, and we have demand of all the 3 products A, B, C. And if we say make sales of one of the product, if we decide one of the product and we sell one of the product, it is not going to affect your other product, right? So you can choose. So you will choose that product which gives you maximum contribution per machine hour, because here the machine hours are limited. So machine becomes the key factor. Supposing in a business skilled labor is required and skilled labor is in short supply, right? So you will see where per hour skilled labor's contribution is maximum. You will produce that product where the per hour contribution of the skilled labor is more. That will be more profitable for the business. So this problem, this example which we are taking, it is of similar type, right? So there are 3 products X, Y, Z. All the products are made from the same set of machine. Production is limited by the machine capacity. We have limited machine capacity. From the following data indicate priorities for product. That is, what is your order of priority of the 3 products? RM refers to raw material cost per unit. So 11 rupees 25 paisa, 16 rupees 25 paisa, 21 rupees 25 paisa. This is the raw material cost of the 3 products. You are given direct labor cost. DL means direct labor cost per unit, 2 rupees 50 paisa, 2 rupees 50 paisa, 2 rupees 50 paisa of all the 3 products. Then you are given other variable cost per unit. Means other variable cost is 1 rupee 50 paisa for X, 2.25 for Y, and 3.55 for Z. Right? Your selling price per unit is 25 rupees for X, 30 rupees for Y, and 35 rupees for Z. What you are given is raw material cost, direct labor cost, and the variable cost. So this is your variable cost component, right? And you are given the selling price per unit, 25, 30, 35. And what you are given is standard time required per unit in minutes. This is important, friends. If you produce 1 unit of X, it will take 39 minutes of the machine. If you produce Y, it will take 20 minutes of machine Y. If you produce Z product, it will take 28 minutes. And mind it, our problem is, our example talks about that machine capacity is limited, right? Now you prepare the profitability statement. What do you have to do? We have to decide that what is the priority of the 3 products, right? Which should be given first priority, which should be given second priority, and which should be given third priority. And I said that because machine hours are limited, right? So the product which gives maximum contribution per minute, that should be the priority, right? That should be the top priority. In order of that, we'll decide the priority. So now let's find out what is the contribution margin per unit, and then we'll calculate per minute, right? So for X, Y, Z, let me take of one product. Similarly, we can calculate of Y and Z. For X, selling price is 25 rupees. Your raw material cost is 11 rupees 25 paisa, right? Let me take of X only. Similarly, we can calculate of Y or Z. Direct labor cost per unit is 2 rupees 50 paisa, and other variable cost per unit is 1 rupee 50 paisa, right? So your variable cost per unit is 15 rupees 25 paisa for X product. Similarly, you can calculate of Y. What you have done is nothing but you have added the 3 costs that is given, right? Raw material cost, the labor cost, and other variable costs. So 1625, 250, and 225, that is the variable cost of the Y component. Similarly of Z. So variable cost of the 3 products are 15 rupees 25 for X, 21 rupees for Y, and 27 rupees 30 paisa for Z. We have just added the three costs which is given in our example. And we all know by now that contribution margin is equal to sales minus variable cost. Sales price is given, right? 25 rupees for X, 30 rupees for Y, and 35 rupees for Z. So sales minus variable cost, it gives you contribution margin. C point is contribution margin, A minus B. So here 9 rupees 75 paisa, that is 25 rupees minus 15 rupees 25 paisa. That gives you contribution margin of 9 rupees 75 paisa. For Y also you have calculated the contribution margin 9 rupees, and for Z also you have calculated in the same manner the contribution margin, right, 7 rupees 70 paisa. Now you have to find out, because the problem is the machine hours. So we will calculate what is the machine hour contribution per minute, right? So contribution margin is given. Standard time for production is again given in our 39 minutes for A, 20 minutes for Y, sorry, right? And 39 minutes for X product, 20 minutes for Y product, and 28 minutes for Z product. So contribution margin per minute is equal to, right? So contribution margin per unit divided by the time taken in producing that product. So 9 rupees 75 paisa divided by 39 minutes. That comes to be 25 paisa per minute is the contribution of X, 45 paisa per minute is the contribution of Y, and 0.27, that is 0.275 paisa for Z. So I said, while this is the problem of, this is an example of key factor. So while in a situation of a key factor, we'll decide to use that thing, will prioritize those products which gives maximum contribution as per the key factor. So here the machine hour is a key factor. So per minute contribution produced, per minute contribution of Y product is 45 paisa. So I'll give first priority to the Y product, right? And the second priority I'll give to Z product, because it gives you 0.275 paisa. You can say 28 paisa, say, right? And for Z it is, for X it is 25 paisa. So I'll give it third priority. So in a key factor like situation, what we have seen here is that we keep in mind that what is the contribution margin, right, as per the key factor. That is our deciding factor, right? Let's quickly take another example. See, all these examples we are discussing so that you can see practically that how this marginal costing is being used in the business like situation, right? So what you are seeing here is that a Smart Exports Limited is producing and selling 20,000 units of product in the home market at a price of rupees 60 per unit. The per unit cost is as follows. You are given the material cost, the labor cost, the factory expenses, both fixed as well as variable. 10 rupees is the material cost, 7 rupees is the labor cost. Factory expenses are 12 rupees per unit is a fixed, and the 4 rupees per unit is variable component. Office and selling expenses, again some portion fixed, some variable. 6 rupees per unit is the fixed, and 3 rupees per unit is the variable, right? An importer from Australia, means any country, is placed an order for 6,000 units at a price of rupees 30 per unit. Execution of Australian order will result in additional total cost of rupees 1 lakh rupees over and above the variable cost, right? So this is 10,000 rupees over and above the variable cost. Should the Australian order be accepted? Friends, what you notice here is that, as I said in my previous lecture, sometime you come across a situation where you have a situation where the person, the buyer is buying the product, or is offering you to sell the product below the total cost, providedly you have a capacity to produce, and providedly which is not going to affect your other sales which you are already making. In such situations, if you use absorption costing, you will not able to take the right decision. But if you use marginal costing, right, you will able to take the right decision, because sometimes by accepting the order which is even below the total cost but above the variable cost is a profitable situation. Let's see whether this situation is profitable, right? So in the market, your sales price is 60 rupees, right, per unit. But the importer is asking you to supply the goods, right, at this price, which is quite low as compared to the, what you call, right, 30 rupees, half the price. Now let's see how it is going to affect it, right? So we have taken the per unit, per unit is given, the per unit, all this total cost I have added, sales 60 rupees, variable cost is 10 rupees, direct labor cost is 7 rupees, variable factory overhead is 4 rupees, variable office and selling overhead is 3 rupees. So the total variable cost is 24 rupees, right? Sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution. So 36 rupees is the contribution, and if you multiply with the number of units sold, you get the total contribution, right, of the number of units which you are already selling in the market, 20,000 rupees. Now this 36 rupees minus fixed cost, factory as well as office and selling, that gives you total fixed cost of 18 rupees. So your profit margin is 18 rupees per unit. 36 rupees is the contribution and your fixed cost is 18 rupees, your profit is 18 rupees. So 18 rupees multiplied by 20,000 units, that you get the total contribution, the total profit of the business, right? Now let's see that if this order is being accepted, which is at 30 rupees. So what your number of units you have to sell is that you have to sell 30 rupees, 6,000 units only. So 30 rupees multiplied by 6,000 units, right? That comes to be 1,80,000 rupees. Less variable cost is 24 rupees. So 6,000 multiplied by 24, that is your variable cost, and that gives you contribution of 36,000 rupees. So in the contribution, if you deduct your additional fixed cost, because if we accept this order, it is given that it will result in increase in the fixed cost to the extent of 10,000, right? So your how much contribution will increase? Your contribution will increase by 36,000, but it is not going to affect your total cost, because the total cost which you are incurring, you will continue to incur. Only difference will be that you will have to incur additional fixed cost of 10,000 rupees, right? So 36,000 minus 10,000 additional fixed cost. I am not taking the total fixed cost, friend. This is the importance. This is the good thing about this, that you will take only additional fixed cost which you will incur in order to make this decision. This is the beauty of the marginal costing, right? So 36,000 minus 10,000, it gives you a profit of 26,000. So what it means, that if this order is being accepted, which is just half the price of the total price at which you are selling in the domestic market. In the domestic market, you are selling it at 60 rupees, but in the export order, you are ready to give it at 30 rupees. Even at half the price, right, your profit of the business will increase to the extent of 26,000 rupees, right? Because the crux of the decision is, because this order is not going to affect your fixed cost. It is going to affect only to the extent of 10,000. So I have taken only the marginal cost, that is the additional cost that will be incurred for accepting this order, right? So friends, what you have seen is that in this situation also, in this situation, the marginal costing is being used, and with the help of the marginal costing, we have taken the right decision, and we are able to increase the profit of the business by 26,000 rupees by accepting this order. So thank you very much for today.